What is up, guys? This is Stu. This is another episode of the What the Fuck Gym Talk podcast. We got Keith and Riley here, Kor4 in Charleston, South. Well, is this technically you guys? Charleston, is that
Charleston?
Charleston, South Carolina, and we got connected on talking about some real estate stuff on a call, and then just you guys sent me over some of the financials of this, what you guys did here. And I was like, oh fuck. Like, these guys aren't fucking around. And I was very intrigued because I don't see those kind of financials on this kind of a model often. And then doing a little research and talking to you guys some more, learning what you do, like where you came from, your background, what you want to talk about. And then that you had created a high op cap, 3,000 square foot, barbell based, high volume group class. And so I was coincidentally down here. And hit you guys up and said, can I pop in and take a look at class and do the podcast? So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Excited.
So let's just give everyone the background story as to how the two of you got linked up, and then the fitness background, because that's obviously such a huge part of your success here, was your previous experience.
Yeah. So Coastal Carolina, I met him. We were partying.
Okay.
And,
you need a beer pong partner?
Yeah. No.
We're actually probably on the opposite team, right?
Right.
You know, people made us think that, we shouldn't like each other, but now looking back on it, we probably should have been boys the whole time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Soccer guy, baseball guy, Coastal Carolina, kind of partied together, and then our worlds collided after college through Orangetheory. Actually, ended up hiring his wife, and then he was making a transition out of his CrossFit gig, and then he jumped on board at OTF.
Yeah.
How long were you guys at Orangetheory?
Keith was there longer than I. I was there for roughly 2.5, 3 years, right before, I was kind of, ready, to go back or do something, different. Things changed for us, with COVID, but Keith, you were there.
I was there 14, 18.
Yeah.
I left
No shit. Yeah. You were there early.
Yeah. Started in 2010, I think, Orangetheory.
Well, yeah, for a short time there, the Orangetheory that we were both at, and Josh, our head coach, it was the largest Orangetheory in the world. We had 1,600 members at one studio across the road, right? And things were flying there, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody kind of went their separate ways, after that. But yeah, initially met, in college, didn't talk for however long, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this. What would you say you took from Orangetheory? Like, what was, like, if you look back on that, like, okay, I got an education in this microgym boutique space. Like, what would you say are like three of the biggest things you learned while working there that you were able to use and manipulate to make Kor4 so successful?
Probably processes and procedures. I would say, Orangetheory does a great job of, following, hey, we have to make these many calls, right? We have to do this many touches. We have to schedule, this many appointments.
Yeah,
right?
they write it out for you.
You know, and it's very easy, right? And it's not there's no wondering, what's expected of you. Here's your job description. Here's what you're supposed to do. The other thing is, obviously having a lot of people, in a productive space, and then I don't know. I just thought, with them, the simplicity of, here's going to be, it's going to be a strength day, a power day, or an ESP day, an endurance strength power day, right? And you knew what to expect every day. On the flip side, some of those things are why, we wanted to create what we created here, with too much monotony or not enough variety or, things of that nature. But that's what I would say. I was coming from a CrossFit side, right? So I partially owned and operated a CrossFit gym in Mount Pleasant, for 3 or 4 years. And then my dad passed away, and I wanted to exit and go into something else. So my mindset was, well, I'm going to go over this Orangetheory thing, and I'm going to see what they do, and I'm going to do like some recon and see if I can get behind enemy lines, for a while and see what works.
Yeah.
Right. Shannon went over first, right, and then after that, I went over, and then Keith kind of went the opposite direction.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with those things, but fucking community, man. Right. Like the most successful Orangetheories, it's the community. You walk in. It's knowing names. It's knowing where their kids go to school. It's knowing what they do for work. It's just like the best community. The workout's the workout, right? The workout is the workout. You're going to get a good workout. You're going to sweat. You're going to get your splat points. But the fucking community, man. Like if you have staff that create that community for a safe place for those members to come, you're going to rock out.
Yeah.
You're going to rock out.
It's the most interesting thing is when I when I get to talk with owners that have that previous boutique experience, right? And they've seen what millions and millions of dollars behind the machine can do. And then when you talk with someone who they make assumptions. They've never worked for a corporate entity that is that large and just has scaled nationally to that degree. There's just a different understanding as to what it takes to make this thing successful. So you guys saw the firepower that they had. Knowing that you wouldn't have that when you opened this up and you started, what was your thinking then? Like, how were you going to show up and you're like, dude, these guys they just have so many resources at their disposal. Was it just, we're going to create a model that wasn't here? If we make a big enough splash and a big enough noise, we'll make some money and then we'll worry about arming ourselves with resources. Like, how did you think about that?
Just what we believed in,
Yeah.
right? We wanted to create a product that we wanted to come in and take class every day, right? Something we like, he's got his CrossFit background. We both were athletes in college and work with a barbell. I kind of fell in love with CrossFit post Orangetheory, and it was just a product that we wanted to create, something that we actually believed in. I couldn't tell anyone they need to get on the treadmill and get their splat points anymore. I was past that, right? I left Orangetheory because I didn't believe in the product anymore. Great product,
Sure.
Right? I just, for myself, right? It wasn't like that fire in myself.
So then why not open a CrossFit?
Well, we actually kind of sat down and we did like a little bit of, we did a needs analysis of like, all right, great. Here's CrossFit. Here's Orangetheory. Where do we want to be, right? We don't want to open a CrossFit gym, right? We don't want to open up an Orangetheory gym. What does CrossFit do really well, right? Strength training, interval, type of work. Okay, great. What does Orangetheory do well, right? Treadmills, rowers. All right, where do they both lack? Where do they both do well? Great. Let's take all the things that they do well and let's make it, into one. And that's essentially how we came up with our concept, to meet all of the needs, the problems that we were getting every day, right? People would come to us at Orangetheory and they say, hey, you know what? I'm past the 15, 20 pound, dumbbells in the weight room. The TRX, is a little bit stale for me. What do I do to advance, right?
Can you create me a program to go to the gym, to go to Planet Fitness and work out on my own?
And then from owning a CrossFit gym, people were, hey, I just don't have time enough to mobilize 30 minutes before class, or, hey, I'm not interested in going to the CrossFit game. So, what can I do instead of this, overhead snatch, right? Or barbell, movement. I'm not interested in it. So we said, all right, well, let's combine, what do people automatically do when they start exercising? Running. Great. All right, great. What's one thing that we can take from Orangetheory? The rower, right? And then obviously, the barbell was the differentiator that we knew when we were sitting down and making our list, that we had to have the barbell in there. And, a lot of people told us that we were crazy for doing it. It doesn't make sense. It's too dangerous.
Too much space.
It's too difficult. We just could, know what? That there's a huge group of people that graduate from Orangetheory that are looking for their next thing that don't want to do CrossFit. And there's a huge group of people that have tried CrossFit that don't want to do CrossFit anymore, but they still enjoy, group programming, and they don't want to go somewhere by themselves and follow program individually.
So now I want you, because everyone at this point, their interest is piqued. I want you to break down the class structure. So how would you describe the class from its duration, the components, the number, like how many people are in this thing? Walk everyone through this, because it's just listening on the podcast.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and start, and then Keith, you can kind of finish it off. So essentially, I know you guys can't see this room, right, if you're listening on the podcast, but inside of this room, we have 14 manual treadmills, right? So curve runners. Then we have 14 rowers, Concept 2 rowers. And then we also have 14 echo bikes, right, that we pull out as well. In the middle of the room, we have a whole strength rack where we have 14 individualized stations inside of about a 3,400 square foot room. Behind the treadmills, behind the rowers, there's a strip of 6-foot turf in which, the members have about a 6x6 space, or slightly smaller than that, which they're operating, from station to station to station. Our bread and butter class, our primary program that we operate in this room is called Force, which we call like the perfect balance of strength and conditioning. There's 3 components to it, right? There's a scored component where you're trying to do as much work as you can in a certain allotted time. There's a strength component where you're adding a tempo to it, trying to lift as much as you can with proper form and technique. And then there's a stamina portion to it where you're trying to replicate the endurance type of interval throughout whatever that work, may be. And that's kind of, most of it in a nutshell.
And this rack, I was counting it. So we have 10, 20, 24. So it's what, 48 total feet of rig, right? So it's this 4 foot and a 6.
Oh, yeah.
The total length of the room, is about 80 feet.
Got it.
Dude.
Yeah.
So you have two 24-foot freestanding rigs. So you can have 6 people technically on their own station. And if you're doubling up, then you have 12 on each side. So what's the class capacity?
42.
42. So, and this training floor is, again, how many square feet?
Just right under 3,400 square foot.
Just under 3,400.
Yep.
I know we've talked about your future potential franchising models on that. We're trying to get that around 3,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
But for everyone listening, 3,400 square feet, 42 people, and the barbell is in, and the barbell's in it's not just like on special classes. It's
every day.
Every day. How much, and that's something that I think, like when I did Urban and when I look at Matt and even now with you guys, now I'm going to reference you guys as well in this conversation. I always felt if someone had to show up and get lucky and show up on a day when that thing was in the workout, just happened to be that day, that sucked. Versus every day they know they're going to get this, this, and this. Every fucking day.
Every day.
They can count on it. They're never going to leave here and be like, there's no barbell work today. I got to go to Planet Fitness and just rep something out real quick, to get a pop. It's every fucking day you're going to get this. And to CrossFit's, if I'm trying to make the fittest person in the world, I need to throw random shit at them. If I'm training them for the CrossFit event, whatever the fuck it is, these are just regular motherfuckers. Like, they don't need that. They want to know that every time I go there, I'm going to get what I think I need or what I want. And then that's it. How many versions of the programming model did you guys go through before you landed on Force or what it is today?
I mean, shit, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So, we talked about this earlier. We started in the park. We were doing body weight workouts, fucking body weight. And then we had a pre-sale and we sold 100 memberships day one. And we went to Dick's and we bought some barbells. And then we went to a temporary space where we just used barbells. We ordered 4 bikes, 5 bikes, added some biking in there. And then, we just slowly transitioned into.
It's really 3 or 4 iterations of, just as we grow, what's the best, as we grow, what's the best, as we grow, what's the best. This room used to look like the treadmills being in the middle. The rig was on the wall. There was a rower station back here, a ski erg station back here, a bike erg or a echo bike station over there. And then just for complexity and making sure people would get the maximum time with the barbell, with the treadmill, with the rower, this is kind of, what we landed on, how much can we get into, that 1 hour class period. That's one of the things we do like about Orangetheory is that with Orangetheory, there was a rolling start. You get in there,
boom,
ping pong method, we're going, right?
Yeah.
With a CrossFit method where, it's a perceived 45-minute warm up for a 7-minute workout, right? And those people that are in the fitness industry, they understand that. But for the client and what our members want, they're not down with that, right? They want to get moving. They want to know that they're maximizing that hour out of their day. So that's essentially how we design it here, right? We put ourselves in the shoes of the customer. What would they want? How can we do that? And that's kind of how we came up with, this right here.
Yeah. I want to get some. So Keith mentioned 100 pre-sale, and then a bunch of gym or the dicks just went from 6 to midnight. They're like, how the fuck did they get 100? Now I want to talk we talked earlier about you guys establishing yourself with local brands here prior and using that like getting your MBA in the fitness industry.
Right.
Talk to everyone as to the success of 100 members because you didn't go and hire Loud Rumor. You didn't go hire a marketing agency. This was mainly due to the relationships you had made at these other fitness companies you had worked at previously. And then, but how did that grow? So you got the first 100. Then how did it go after that? Was it just we're just local? We set up shop where we knew people, and people knew us from our other roles in other companies.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. When we signed up 100 people day one, and I called Riley and I'm like, shit, dude, we might sign up 500 people in a week, right?
Yeah.
We hit 100 people day one, and day two we might have signed up 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Blew your load early.
Yeah.
Peaked in high school, baby.
I was fucking pumped. I was like, dude, we're gonna have. I mean, from where we came from, like everyone's gonna follow us. Everyone's gonna follow us.
Yeah.
And what we found out is, not that many people like change. There were 100 people that trusted us. Right. We had no product. Yeah. We had no visuals. We just said, we're opening a gym. We're gonna have X, Y, and Z. We're gonna use a barbell every day. If you believe in us, come see us. Those 100 people that trusted us. But but after that, it was just word of mouth, man. Just, we kept grinding. It was, 10 members this week, 10 members this week, 10 members this week. And it was just,
it was 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., every day.
All day.
Keith and I would meet up, text him at 3:30. Hey, man, what energy drink you want? I got him today, right? You literally just camping out. But it was first of all, word of mouth, organic, right? And then from there, we started, really just on Instagram every single day, literally
posting workouts.
What we would do is we just chronicled the whole thing, right? We acted like we were, basically vlogging the whole thing. What's up?
Right.
It's Keith and I over here, just in between class, and we just every day we stayed on it. I mean, our whole Instagram stories, probably our Instagram director now would be like, you have too many stories on there. We had so many, things back there, but after
we were running crazy fucking promos. Like, hey, come to our gym. We know you're paying 30-day cancellation at another gym. We'll give you 3 months free.
Yeah, like
whatever.
We'll pay your cancellation and come on over here, right?
Yeah.
And then after we moved from hey, there's no gym, then we moved to the parks, right? And we would do a workout, every Saturday in the park while we were personal training people at another studio. And then after we did the parks, then that's when we got the idea to do the temporary studio. And
that's when things started to change.
Yeah, once we got the actual space, and then people started to see what we were saying and put it to life. Then probably each week we would net 10 to 15 to 20.
Yeah.
So from pre-sale, I think we did 150 pre-sale with no space. Then when we did the actual space, we went from 150 to about 375, right? And that's just a vanilla shell. Keith and Riley, we stayed up all night, painted it black, put a wall big head sticker that said Kor4. We still have pictures.
Busted mirrors,
not black nice turf like we have now. It was
Shitty,
like
stinky
dog park turf, in there. And we just ran it, right? We started off with 2 morning classes, a noon, and then 1 in the evening, right? And then as we, hit, certain occupational capacity, as people would say, hey, I want to make the jump from OTF, I'm only going to jump from F45, wherever, we would add 7:30 or an 8:45, right, on a couple days out of the week.
It's just him and I jamming out all day.
Yeah,
all day.
Sometimes we would alternate classes. Sometimes it would be Keith morning, Riley evening, and we would just kind of just bump and grind, I mean, we didn't have anyone until we hit about 400,
450.
and then that's when we made our first hire, right? We made our first hire at about 400, which is a coach, and she was great. She really helped us clear up a little bit of space for us to do other things, and then from the pre-sale space to the actual space, that was we launched in May, we did pre-sale space in August. And then we got into this actual space in, was it mid-November?
November. Yeah.
Mid-November,
Yeah.
right? Right before
Thanksgiving.
Right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we were at about 400 members, and then after that, each month we just continue to increase.
And so to frame it up for everybody, you guys found this location, signed the lease, but there's construction to do.
Mm-hmm.
Construction took how many months?
Oh man, construction. They start. This is post-COVID, so I think we started quote unquote in June, and then didn't actually get our CO until maybe the end of October.
Yeah.
And then we had a few things that we needed to do before we
made some changes.
Yeah.
6-ish months somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's when for everyone framing up, while this construction's happening, the hardest thing in pre-sale, especially when there's no proof of concept of it, right. is to sell people on an idea. So you guys again park, and then park, essentially, you're like, hey, there's the spot next door the landlord owns as well. It's just this empty shell. That's what you're referring to as your temporary space.
Yep.
But that is something that I would say you guys extracting from what Orangetheory, like the biggest franchises, they go and they're setting up shop here, and then there's an H&R Block, and they rent an office at an H&R Block, then they put up their renderings of what the studio's going to look like.
Here's what it looks like.
Video.
You have to have a location to do resale.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with gym owners, and the budget isn't there for them to lease a temporary space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool. Then outside your current space, we're going to get the rights for you to set up shop on the sidewalk, and you're going to sit there with a fucking tent and drawings of your rendering. You have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
People are like, so how do we make the money come in if I have no existing studio and I'm building out the current one? I'm like, we can't just run ads. I mean, we could run ads, but like they have to meet you. They have to see you. You have to start making a community like you guys did in the park. And then it continued to that shitty version of what this is today.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, the bar, those people left Orange Theories.
Mm-hmm.
They left High-Low. They left F45. The facility that you gave them, and because what on a pre-sale, were they to put their first month down, or they just put their card down to be charged once the studio opens?
We did first month.
So the way we did it, they did their first month, right? So they put down their money, right? For that actual first month when we moved into our studio. Then we had an actual pre-sale rate to when we were next door. They were paying us monthly revenue as we came in. Now, we could have done it differently, and maybe looking back, on the next one we will. But what we did is those people who put that money down day one, those 100 and change, when we moved over here, they actually got that month for free.
Got it.
Right. So
we gave them a month.
Yeah, we gave them a month for free.
We didn't technically give it to them, but
yeah, I mean they pay for it, right?
Sure.
Because when we did that initially, we didn't even have the temporary space, in our eyesight yet, So we kind of changed and we kind of molded things as we went. But when they moved over here, they all got their first month, for free over here. So that January.
Yeah.
Now, in this location, do some numbers for me, guys, if you don't mind sharing. What for 2023 on average? What are you guys doing per month in total monthly revenue?
Per month, average revenue is anywhere between 115 and 120K.
Okay. So you guys are in that unicorn, over $1 million a year in annual revenue, significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're currently, as you do that, and why aren't you just done? Why aren't you just like, I mean, you guys are here. I've got a feeling that even if I wasn't coming in today, you guys would have been on site today.
1,000%. Yeah.
So, but you have a great staff. I mean, I saw the amount of people you have working for you here. This place was rocking. I mean, you guys are, how many people do you think how many people do you service today?
5,300.
Yeah, and Friday in Charleston, people they stop doing stuff at 12 and they head to the head to the bar.
So
head to the
between your
beach,
first
whatever.
class this morning and what I saw now, you got
70, 150, 225. It'll be upwards of 300. On a
300
Friday.
people by whatever fucking time it is right now on Friday. Okay, why? Like, why not just? Because what you're saying right now, every owner is just like, I that's all I want. Like, that's literally, you have already achieved what I want. Why not stop now? And why are you guys looking at whatever's next? Like, is it like, what chip do you have on your shoulder? What's the vision long term?
I mean, that's it right there. It's a huge chip on the shoulder. We talk to each other every day. I text Keith. I say, hey man, remember when we said we had 1,000 members, we'd be happy, right? Are you happy, right? And he texts me back, nah, dude, right? Not happy, right? Yeah, but Keith can tell you, we've been lied to, promised to, carrot dangled in front for so many years.
I mean, we come from a place where we did the work, right? The studios that we had, that we worked out, that were successful, like we did that. Us and our staff, we did that. So it was just time for us to do it for us.
Yeah,
right?
and for the members, I mean, there was just a huge gap, from all these people that we loved about and we cared about them, and they never got what they were looking for with those previous brands that they gave their money to. Right. And it was just a promise to, to them. It was like, hey, we're going to start here. And then we know that there's people in Atlanta. We know that there's people in Charlotte, wherever it is, who need this exact thing. Right. They've been looking for this. When they go to a CrossFit gym, they wish that it was like this. Right. When they hit up Orangetheory, they're like, oh man, yeah, I could see myself doing this for a long period of time.
And then, it's the product. We created the product, right? We want to show this motherfucker off.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I wanted to be in every big city. I mean, it's just,
it's personal.
Something, you're proud of it, right? You show up every day. I mean, that's why we show up every day, right? It's you're proud of it.
Sometimes our staff probably wishes that we didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, you guys,
you're good.
Get out of here, bro. You guys don't have to be here. But we like coming in. We like the relationships, and we want to do it again. We're hungry. We want to make it happen across the bridge or in another city, because we know that this is a problem solver for a lot of people.
Total cost to get this location open. What was your entire construction budget? Let's just start there. What did it cost? Equipment package, construction budget to open this location?
So initially, right, we're talking TI. Initial TI was what? 130.
112.
111, right?
Yeah,
you know,
112,
and that's
111.
bare bones TI. You know, coming off the COVID era, you know, we're not, you know, you're not going to get a lot of grace then, right? As we built, you know, this room
Was this
right
a
here.
shell?
This was
Did it have HVAC or what?
it had HVAC, but
Okay.
the HVAC might have had to been, you know, a service or something like that. But this previous location was a gym, right?
Like 112 would do the drywall and maybe two small bathrooms.
That's all we
Right.
got, right? So
Right.
we got
Right.
some walls put in.
Right.
We updated the bathrooms from prison style to, you know, a little bit more modern, you know, shower tile. And that was initially what we got. But after like version 3 in this room, all in is roughly like $450.
Okay.
$450. And that's all the bells and whistles, everything from top to bottom, flooring, installation, lighting, mirrors, sound, TVs, signage, plates, everything kind of all in. This room, as well as our auxiliary room too, all of that, you know, is covered in that, you know, kind of big number right there.
Looking at, so I was looking at the facility and the way you have it laid out and all that. I think is great. And when I got to see it in action, and I thought it flowed very smooth. It was not a clusterfuck. It was as tight as you want as an owner to look and be like, yeah, all that square footage is fucking making money today, right? Like, but it's not so tight that the client experience starts, you know, getting strangled.
Sure.
Right.
What would you do different in the next location, if anything? Like, is there anything you would like, and even if it doesn't exist, like be like, I wish there's a way to make this fucking smaller, or I wish there was a way to fucking make it so these plates don't have to be on a rack that goes on the floor. Like, what would you do if you could wave an operational capacity wand?
Yeah. So yeah, the one thing that we played around with is, you know, with the rig, you know, the space that's on the outer portions of the rig, that's usable. You know, you're making dollars right there. The space inside of the rig, right? That's where we're looking at. We're going to be able to eat up 6 feet right there, changing the rig configuration, right? So instead of the actual rack, we're going to have power racks that butt up back to each other, right?
Got it.
With the plates that come off to the side, just
Sure.
like you're saying right there. So that way each station will have their exact 5, 10, 15, 20. They have everything stacked up right there. That limits on changes, switches. Hey, are you still using this? Are you not using this? And then that also cuts that literal whole bar down, which compresses, you know, our square footage right there. That's one thing that, you know, we've kind of figured out. We started with the rig on the wall, then we moved it to the center. The center is, you know, obviously the best place, the focal point. It's the one thing when people walk in and are like, oh, wow, you know, this is cool. I don't know if there's anything else that
Nothing. I mean, we've updated it. You know,
Yeah.
this is again, we've updated it for the last you know, 8 months. So we're close.
We're pretty close. I mean, that's probably the one thing where we've noticed, like, hey, we could really do that. You know, or the mention, you know, of doing that smaller competition style barbell. You know, if that was a possibility, you know, there. Another thing we're thinking about is, you know, a little bit different, maybe color-coded barbells, you know, because we do have the blue lights. The guys have, the aluminum style, the girls a little bit more stainless. Just little like even more things like there. So, you know, you just, hey guys, remember the guys barbell, you know, is this
color?
Is this color? Girls,
How many
this
girls
color.
are going and looking and wasting extra
Just
30
little stuff like
seconds.
that. Because as we go, I mean, we talk about this every day. We're like, no one's done this before. So there's no model that we can kind of like go off of. All we're doing is like, all right, well, what does metabolic do? And then, all right, well, what did OTF do? Well, OTF has their treadmills literally touching each other, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to
ass
do
in
that?
the face.
Right?
Yeah,
you know, you're getting off the rower.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
wacky jacks on the person next to you, right? Do we want that? No, right? So we're trying to, just like you're saying, how close can we get it to where we're maximizing it, but we never have someone come up to us and say, hey, Riley, I feel like this is too close or this is unsafe, right?
Sure.
That's kind of like, that's our line in the sand where we never want to cross. And I think, you know, we definitely didn't get everything right, you know, at the first time, like not even close. But each time we just know that, like, hey, dude, we're going to fuck this up, but we're going to fall forward and fail forward every single time.
I mean, we listen to members. Right? What are members like?
Listen, our members and our staff too. Our staff, like, that's one of the great things about our staff is they're very, you know, very vocal with us, and they say, hey, guys, what do you think about this? And we're like, let's try it, right? But, you know, the number one goal is, you know, how does it affect the members, right? Is it a positive? And then, you know, we'll change it.
Yeah. Talk to me about the lease terms on this place. So you guys, to get them to give you over 100K in TI, how long of the lease did you have to sign?
5 years with 2 5-year options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And what do you guys pay per square foot?
So we started at 15. right?
Yep.
And then we have 3% escalation, as we move from year to year.
All right. And total square. I know the total square footage of that you lease, or rentable square footage.
Total square footage is 6,950. Yeah, 6,950 with
6,952.
locker rooms, in the back.
All right. So if you do 115,000 a month
Mhm.
at 6,950 square feet, you guys are generating. And how much you say you're paying per square foot?
Right now, it's
15. Or right now, not right now would be 16,
Yeah,
right? We just
16.
escalated,
Yeah.
right? So 16 closing in on 17.
God, you guys are just fucking. This is so nice. Yeah, I mean, like you guys, the amount of money you guys are. So here's the thing: is whenever I look at square footage and costs and stuff like that, it's like, okay, how do I make the money back? So if I pay $35 a square foot,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to generate over $35 a square foot, right?
Right.
Like at the end of the day,
You got
you
to.
have to.
yeah, correct, yeah. And I look at a model like this, and I can see the attraction. I can see the client acquisition system because it looks similar to what they've done at the other boutiques,
Mhm.
but it adds this other element, right? This other thing that I want to do. So I can see where you can rob CrossFits and Orange Theories, and that white space model that you guys have done a great job at. But I think the further genius of it is, again, and especially if you're able to really capture an extra 400 or 5, like, and bring this thing in closer to 3,000 square feet,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you go and start talking to people who are looking the franchise options. That is such a headline.
Mhm.
42 people, 3,000 square feet. I could do that. 100. You guys could with the barbell. Like
Right.
that is the thing. It's just like the barbell's only been. No one's tried to fuck with it, and they just leave it for CrossFit.
Right.
So
Right.
everyone's come up
Right.
with every softer
Right.
version that
Right.
they can without the barbell. I'd say Metabolic's probably done the best job of doing the harder strength version without the barbell, but still no one's been able to scale a
Sure.
boutique franchise with it. I'd say this is probably the closest I've seen to be in that boutiques, that non-CrossFit space, and be
Right.
able to do that.
Mhm.
I mean, you guys, my head is fucking off to you. Like when I saw
Appreciate it.
those numbers, I was like, the fuck? I'm like, I got it. Like, and again, I would have probably made my way down here anyway to see it at some point.
Yeah.
Well, we were like,
Yeah.
Coincidentally,
when we told you the numbers, we were like, God, I wonder what he's thinking.
We got
After our first call,
we got off the phone and I go, hey, you see Stu writing those down?
Yeah.
I
I was like, he's got to be impressed.
He's like, let's wait and see what the follow up is.
He's gotta be
He's probably got a
impressed.
couple calls back to back, right?
And then I texted him when
Yeah.
your assistant emailed me. I was like, yo, he emailed us.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. He might like us a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's number. I was like, this is. I mean, it's really impressive, very impressive.
Thank you.
Now, let's talk about this. So, you guys mentioned, okay, where do you want to go? Like, okay, you have the options. We've talked about you guys buying a building, stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
you have options because you have the cash flow, which is nice. Paint your own. Like, again, pretend like there's nothing stopping you. What would the ideal next thing be?
I mean, the goal is, to duplicate this, like we said, in Mount Pleasant,
Correct.
right?
So you keep it corporately owned.
Yep,
Mhm.
corporately owned. We've, looked in Somerville, Mount Pleasant, and just duplicate this. If we can duplicate it and have the same success that we're having here, we fucking have something.
And then how do we talked about this prior, but how do you answer for the fact that, okay, in location 2, you're going to have a couple things. Number one, you'll have some members here, maybe possibly some small percentage relocate to your second one because maybe they just bought a home there or something like that. So you'll have a little bit of just a little bit of a kindling to get that fire going,
Mhm.
but it won't be like what you had the first time because you guys were so embedded in the local in the competitors around here. You worked for the Orange Theories and the High Lows and all that. How would you think about running pre-sale now? Because it would have to be a more sophisticated version than what you did. Everything's more sophisticated than
Sure.
what you did in the beginning. How do you think about that now?
I mean, it's kind of like when I started with Orange Theory. Essentially we, just had to get out in the community, right? We were in the
Baskets of
community,
oranges and
business
shit.
to business,
Yeah.
business to business, and then creating that. I mean, even if it's 10 people, right? Creating that small community in wherever we go next, and then it's just you just build and you build and you build and you build, and again, it's I go back to it. What I took from Orange Theory is, it's you have a great product, but even if you have a great product, you're only as strong as your community is, So, my thing is, it's just community. It's
Yeah.
creating, it's getting the coaches out there. It's hiring people from that community, right? That know people already as well. And then it's running ads. It's selling pre-sale memberships that allow them to come here for a discounted rate. They can come and try out the product here in West Ashley. Let's say we go to Mount Pleasant, right? They can have a membership that allows them to come and take classes in West Ashley, right? So they can kind of get their feet wet, and they can tell their friend, like, I went and took this class in West Ashley. They're coming to Mount Pleasant in, 4 months, but you got to get in now. Pre-sale, right? Pre-sale. It's going to be a, $50 discount off the price when they open. Come check it out.
We looked up, other models too who do like pop-up stores. For example, like Lululemon, right? Yeah. Lululemon will go in and they'll do a pop-up store,
trunk store
at a certain location, right? And they'll just test it out, right? They'll see, hey, how's the revenue going over here? What's the foot traffic like? How are these things going? And then we'll just gather some data. Now we're way more capitalized, than we had then, and we have much more resources. So it'll just be more sophisticated that we did, in West Ash. Mount Pleasant would be a little bit more lucrative for us, just for the fact that, I was over there for 5 years before I came over to West Ashley, with my CrossFit location. Keith was over there, with that one high-low location. But Charleston is unique. It's kind of like New York with like the little boroughs type of thing, right? So people talk about, driving over the bridge and, we've lost members just because they have to drive over one bridge, and it might be, 12 minutes down the road, type of thing. But just more data driven, for the second one, kind of, more thoughtfulness and getting ourselves the right spot, not just necessarily the next spot. And, that's kind of because like you're saying, we don't have to do another location, but we want one, and we just want to find the right spot here to replicate, exactly what we've done here.
Yeah.
What do you think is retention wise more important? From a community, you talk about community.
Yeah.
Within the business, it'd be more like culture than it is community. We think your staff, but like you guys spend how much per month in payroll in total? Would you say?
Total like 20, close to 30.
Okay.
30.
Yeah, it's our payroll's 30% of our gross, right?
Okay.
If we're bonusing, which we should be as we're hitting our numbers, it'll jump up to 33%, right?
Talk to everyone about the bonus structure. What does that look like?
Yeah, so essentially, in this phase of our business, our number one goal is that we want to net new members, right? So our staff here, their goals are based off of, hey, if we netted a certain amount of members for that month, right? Now we have a little bit of data that we can project how we did last year, right? It's still new, so it's like, it's kind of good data, but it's kind of like, we were really fresh then and we're only 2 years in, but we can go off of last year, right? So if our goal is, hey, we're going to try to net 25, members right here, right? Studio manager makes this, assistant manager gets this bonus, front desk staff, right? They get this bonus, head coach, this bonus, and that package might be somewhere between, 4 to 6K, for those guys who are in here day to day doing, the work with us to get compensated and see that, hey, I am being brought along, for this ride financially. And these guys appreciate, what I'm doing here, not just, see me clocking in, each day.
Right. It depends on what time of the year, right? Like, in group fitness, June, July, August, you're trying to stay where you are, right? So it might not be,
explain to everyone who's not regionally familiar with like the East Coast, the Southeast. Why is June, July, and August so difficult?
I mean, the weather's great. people aren't looking to, they're there. They're going to be outside, right? They're not trying to make a change aesthetically to their body. They're going to be outside. The weather's beautiful, right? They're going to be drinking their beer on the boat. Once 4 o'clock hits in Charleston, everyone's
if you have
out.
to compete with the beach wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if someone's going to take a trip to Savannah for the weekend, like your weekend classes could be decimated. How many gyms do most of their sales on a Saturday?
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's what I say to the staff is Saturday. It's just energy, right? We're not going to sell on Saturday. If you do, I mean, it's great, right? It's icing on the cake.
Have one a month, right? Where you knock it out of the park.
Right.
Yeah.
But June, July, August, it might not be net new join. It might be revenue based, right? Hey, we're at 120. Our goal is, to stay at 120 for the next 60 days. Right. So it depends on the time of the year. We change it up. Sometimes it's new joins, sometimes it's net, sometimes it's revenue. It's, we have fun with it.
Yeah. So let's say it's June, July, and August. Like, all right, we're not going to net new, but so when my thing is always, if I can't acquire new cash from the outside, I got to generate more cash from the inside. So whether it's apparel or an in-house challenge where they're going to pay some money or whatever it is like that, how do you guys look at generating? Because you're not also offering personal training. You're not so how else would we generate additional revenue internally on those months that we're not. It's not going to be too much of external cash.
Just like you said.
Yeah. I mean, we just did Keith and I are running a macro challenge right now.
Nice.
We got let's see, what do we got? We got 60 people, doing that challenge. The unique part of this challenge is it's if you do the work, you get your money back, type of challenge,
Sure.
right? So you put $125 down. If you follow, everything, that's stipulated at the end of it, you get all of your money back, type of thing. But yeah, it's retail, it's summer months, but we're going to make those late cancels.
Those late cancels add up. Those $15 charges
if
add
a
up.
CrossFit gym isn't doing that, if you're not doing that, it's a great way, to offset some of the credit card processing fees, if you're not doing, bank, ACH, but also it keeps people, engaged in the summer months, right? People don't want to see that, and they will, wake up at 5 a.m., instead of getting that $15 charge.
Well, going back to, I asked you guys, how do we make more money? And someone's listening, it's like, wait, if they cost $125, whatever, and you give it back to them, how are you guys making money? I'm like, nobody's canceling.
Nobody's
when they know,
canceling.
Yeah,
exactly,
it's that
right?
retention tool.
Right.
We used to do that at Urban all the time. Fucking look better naked challenge, put the money in. You don't have to win it. You just have to participate,
That's
which
it.
means you can't fucking cancel.
Yep.
Right.
And I put that in. So for me in Charlotte, it was November, December, January were just my kick in the dick months. Like those are the ones where I'm going to probably lose. I'm going to be in the red. I'm going to net negative because of freezes and holds and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Is that similar for you guys down here?
Yeah.
I mean, last month we netted 25. This month we'll net 19. July is the toughest for us in Charleston.
Fourth quarter okay for you guys?
Similar to the end of the second quarter, type of thing. Those two mirror each other right there, just with, sometimes Charleston people are like seasonal. They go somewhere else, forever. But like Keith was saying, man, July is just like there is a concert every day in Charleston. Nobody works on days that end in Y
They're
here.
going to the Two Friends show.
Right.
They
save their PTO for July.
It's it, right? But yeah, July is our toughest month. So our goals in July will be a little bit different. Than net new. We'll be more revenue based, revenue focused. And then just continuing to find things that get people excited about, listening to people, what interests them. The retail, we just had a new retail launch out there that people have, been interested in. I've been spending a lot of time on Alibaba, getting all that stuff in here. Keith makes fun of me, from
like, dude, these hats are made out of paper.
I'm like, and we're getting a refund with those, but these are good, right?
Yeah. I found the RX jump ropes back in the day from on Alibaba when I had CrossFit South End.
Yeah.
And because I had a $65 RX jump rope I bought from Rogue, and I ordered one from Alibaba. I was like, this is the same thing.
I know.
Except this Alibaba one costs $7.
I know it.
Dude, selling those
and they'll put my logo on it, right?
Bro.
Yeah. So that we're just figuring it out. You know, we've gone through vendors and we've gone through third parties and we've outsourced things, and every time we try to outsource something in that area, we always end up like disappointed.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to keep it as much as we can in house, and with vendors and with relationships that they understand what we're doing.
Sure.
And that's been our best, our best thing.
One of the big things here at the end I want to ask you guys is and I see this. So when you guys, I've already said, I'm very impressed with what you've done so far. It's going to be, is it sustainable? We joked earlier about you blowing your load early.
Right.
Are you going to look back and we blew our load early in the first year and a half, 2 years, right? Or can we sustain this? I think as you guys go to the market and people with cash that are looking for models to invest in might, want to come have conversations with you boys, that's going to be one of the things. I told you earlier, one of the things that's hard for you guys right now is you're so fucking hot. Like, you've done so well. It's like, oh, there's something wrong there. Someone's got drug money in it. Like they're completely laundering.
Right.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the other hard thing is when you're killing it, it's sometimes hard for you. You see this in like the NFL. So someone gets drafted number 1, it goes to their fucking head, right? How do you guys keep yourself grounded? Like my thing was always, even when in my best year ever at CrossFit South End, we did $500,000. That was my best. That's the best I'd ever done. And we did it at a good profit margin. It was very economical for what we did. It allowed me to do the other things, but I always told myself, you're not shit. Like, you don't know fuck about shit. Like, you're nobody. How do you guys keep that? Because that's hard. You guys are killing it right now. You're still young as fuck in this game, and you came from being the whipping boy at other brands and having to fucking just take those lashings from people who just used you to pursue their dream. So how do you now sit back? How do you constantly become a student? How do you constantly be like, how do you continually learn about the industry? What does that look like for you guys?
Honestly, man, I just think it's just in my blood, right? It's just like, I don't want to say I'm never happy, but I'm just constantly like after that chase, after that high. Like, we are where we are now, and it's awesome, but it's like, I want to do it again, right? Again, this is great. Like, this product we have is great. This location's great. But again, like you said, it's like, I'm not really shit until I got to do it again, right? And it's that chase. The chase is what keeps me motivated, what wakes me up in the morning. It's just like constantly wanting to continue to change lives and change my life and create something that I can sit back, 10, 15, 20 years from now and be like, wow, I did it.
What area of the business interests you the most? Like, what do you have a specific title? Like, one of you CFO and one CMO? Like, how does that work?
We've actually, we've tried to, right, delineate these lines, in order to help our staff, as much as we can.
Who do
right?
I go to when I
Who do I go to, right? And what we've kind of, fell into is, hey, Keith is more fitness, inside of this room type of thing. Riley is more numbers, front of the house, sales, type of thing. But one of the things that, we really try to, tell our staff is, even though he's in here and I'm out there, right, at OTF, we call it like both sides of the glass, right, is that communication, between he and I on this, on that, on this, on that, even just, a quick little voice text about, hey, man, here's what's going on with this. Just want to let you know, FYI.
Right.
But Keith is a little bit more fitness-based, 6 months ahead, 1 month ahead, 3 month ahead type of thinker.
Yeah.
And I think that way too, but the way our partnership works and why it's worked so well is he's more of like, hey man, wouldn't it be awesome if we did this? And I'm the guy who's like, well,
yeah,
and then he's like, yeah, but we have to find a way to do it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Here's how we're going to do it. And here's how we're going to make money. And here's how, the members are going to get the best experience. And here's how here's how we got to tell them about it, and that type of thing.
I'm a big picture guy.
Yeah. And I'm more of like all right, cool. Here's how, it has to work. And a lot of people ask that too. They're like, dude, Keith is
oil and water.
Yeah.
Oil and water.
Total opposite. Right. But we're a lot the same.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, it worked. We sat down. I wish I had them with me right now, but I got the notes in my backpack. I'll show you, of like when we were sitting down, drinking beer, eating chicken tenders, drawing up Kor4 on the napkin, right? Yeah. And then we were just talking about it. We're like, all right, man, hey, just tell me, don't think about it. Tell me what your idea is, about this. And then I go, all right, cool. That's my same idea, right? And then we're like, all right, well, we got to do it, right?
Got to do it.
And then we just put it to the pen. And just like you're saying, just proud but never satisfied with anything that we do. Like, we thought we'd be happy with 500 members. We thought we'd be happy with 700.
We said that. We're like, gotta get to 700.
We
700.
Then we got to get to 8. We got to get to 9, right? And now we're like, hey, by the end of the year, we got to get to 1,000 members, right? But it's just because we want to help people, and we're coaches at heart. Like we coach our staff, we coach our people here. And for me and Keith, I think we're our happiest when we're like in expansion mode.
Sure.
And when we're growing and learning ourselves, and then when we're passing that on to Jane or Josh or whoever it may be, leading the ship here.
Your beliefs, though, you guys, because I tell people all the time, the reason I was able to show up in Charlotte and do better than my constituents who had been there for 5 years prior to me was only because I came from several years of the Globo Gym business education.
Yeah.
You're able to, 1,000 members is possible because you worked at a studio that had 1,600.
Right. Yeah. So that's a huge thing for
us,
that. Right?
I mean, because you guys have colleagues that are probably other gym owners that are just like, they can't even fathom 400.
Right.
Like, they're like, there's no way you can give. I mean, I literally have people that tell me that. I'm like, your self-limiting beliefs are the reason you're going to be broke forever.
Yeah. I mean, we'll text you, I'll send them an Instagram video. I'll be like, why not us?
Right.
Us. This is us, you know, and it's just everyday programming ourselves. It comes from a sports background too. We make analogies, every time, hey, here's the play we're running today. Here's who the ball's going to, here's who's taking the shot. Right. Yeah. And then it's just, we're just doing the same thing. And then adding each time we hit a little, kind of a point, add another person to the team. Right. This person's the 3-point shooter. This person, is, at the point. This person's whatever. And I mean, we just have that same mentality. I still wake up thinking that I'm still in the temporary space every fucking day.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still wake up and I'm like, damn, dude, I'm going into the temp space.
Right.
You know, and
yeah.
and
I mean,
here
the way I felt over there and the way I feel here, I mean, it's the exact same.
Yeah.
It's the exact same. It's
Yeah.
just like guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boys, I'm excited for you. I'm
Cool.
excited for you. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
this
it.
was great.
Appreciate it too.
Congrats on
Awesome.
everything.